Yeah, man, I want to get into some of this history here. The slave rebellion of December 25, 1521. One of the earliest slave rebellions recorded on record, so they say. So, a little bit of history, some brief history. The elders go into it from time to time. The elders and apostles, actually, they're going into it a lot. It was first, I first heard this mentioned. Well, this one I've never heard of it mentioned. I've heard of the Haitian rebellion. We're gonna get into some of them, but this one on the live stream of the elders and apostles Saturday on the highways and the byways. I first heard of it, so I said, let me get into some of this Abarazar. It'd be an edifying video. So yeah, I've done videos on certain bits of history, bits and pieces of history. There's gonna be some brief history, some things that as the apostle said, the the media, the mainstream media overlooked it. So we may have overlooked it. Our history is deep. Our history, Yashua Allah, the true people of the Lord, the princes of the power, our history goes deep. So let's get into some of this Abarazar. So I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Harakah, Quadash, giving double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutes to all 144,000 elect out there. So on December 2025, 1521, the enslaved people on a Santo Domingo sugar plantation owned by the son of Christopher Columbus attempted to free themselves and take over the land. This was the earliest recorded slave uprising in America. Let's get into some of this, man. This just a little bit, and then we're gonna hit some precepts. Land backing off what one of the elders, the elder Tahar said, elder apostle Tahar said. I said, okay, let's been a little while since I ain't touched on some history. I won't get into some of this. For those that know. For those that don't know, we're gonna bring some of this out. So this is from Zin Education Project Media website. On December 15, 2020, on December 25, 1521, the enslaved people on a Santo Domingo sugar plantation owned by the son of Christopher Columbus. Columbus attempted to free themselves and take over the land. This was the earliest recorded slave uprising in America. The revolt was voluntary, put down by Spanish colonizers. And 11 days later, the governor issued a new set of repressive laws regulating blacks and slaves designed to prevent future rebellion in Santo Domingo slave revolt. Here it is here. Yeah, the black slaves, so-called black slavery and black resistance in the early colonial Americas. Anthony Stephen Evidlo writes, Colonel. Right, the life and death confrontation between the Spanish cavalry and the black rebels did not last long, because they was just making a point that we had more beans. Let me just say it like that. We had more fight in us then, right? Which we're gonna hit some precepts. Those were the days when we had more fight, but it was only 11 days long. It says here, right? The governor issued a new set of representative laws for regulating blacks and slaves. So it wasn't long. It was quashed. The rebellion was quashed. The revolt violently put down by the Spanish colonizers. And 11 days later, the governor issued a new set of repressive laws. Let's read a little bit on here. We don't have to read all of it. We might read all of it. The life and death confrontation between the Spanish cavalry and the black rebels did not last long. Equipped with superior weapons, the Spaniards crushed the black rebels, who had managed to arm themselves with objects that they had converted unto impromptu weapons as they waited and planned the right moment to launch the attack and break free. The death of the rebels strengthened the reign of a social order in LA. Some word here, Españolo, based on equality, on the accumulation of wealth in the hands of a few at the expense of the majority. That social order still remained in place today. Nevertheless, the uprising established a precedent in the minds of everyone to keep the system in place. Spanish colonial authorities acted quickly, and about 10 days later, in 1522, they sanctioned a tough set of laws specifically devoted to limit the rights of black people in LA Española. Whether enslaved or not, these were punitive laws whose goals were to control and prevent similar insurrections from ever happening again. The 1522 laws are the oldest surviving set of Spanish legislations issued to regulate and punish black people who violated the social norms in La Española. The laws also imposed punishments to those who helped enslave blacks to escape, whether, right man, they helped enslave. The laws also imposed punishment to those who helped enslave blacks to escape. Right, so any freedom fighters or got any ideas to get your freedom, they would have nipped it in the bud. Or any helpers, so-called helpers or freedom fighters. That's how they dealt with it. Helpers of freedom fighters or freedom fighters. Right? To those who helped. He said the laws also imposed punishments to those who helped enslave blacks to escape, whether whites or otherwise. The ideological opponent of the slavery society was put into practice in El Española to control to varying degrees everyone everywhere. Equality significant is the fact that the 22 laws proceeded for a long time. All subsequent black codes disdained at subjecting the generations of millions of black men and women that would be held in bondage throughout history in the entire continent, including the United States. All right, there's a lot here. We don't have to read all of this. All right. Basically, that's it. I don't have to read all that. So this didn't last long. 10 days, around 10 days, and it was quashed. But it's just a little bit of brief history since it was mentioned by the apostles, and that's how I've been coming up with some of my videos recently. Just listening keenly and listening to words. And if you want any excuse to get into the history, right, keep up with the elders and the apostles, the big brothers videos, the bishops videos, and you always will be spiritually fed. You always will be edified. You always would have reasons to get into doing your own videos. You can just land back off some words or land back off some of the history. Get into some of the history of your own. You can get some of the scriptures. The scriptures is the book that we look into, right? And just bring it all out. Bring it out. Bring out the scriptures that come to your mind when you hear what the what is being said as far as prophecy, as well as the history and current events. We get into all of that. Now, reason why I find it interesting because I've done videos in history before. I've covered a little bit of history before, and I did want to get into my history because we've got brothers in our camp that really get into that history heavy. So I'm learning to get into it myself. Here's another one here, a little bit more. It says the text of 1522 slave laws described that a certain number of slaves agreed to rebel and rebelled with intentions and purpose to delete all the Christians. Right. See, that was a fight we had in us them time. We had more fight, right, in us. They could and free themselves and take over the land, right. Christians, read that again. A certain number of slaves agreed to rebel and rebelled with intentions and purpose to delete all the Christians. They could, and to free themselves and take over the land. The historical documents present uprising as well. Uprising. All right, here's another one. I tapped in here. What was the most famous slave rebellion? Because Elder Apostle Tahar made mention of that too. This is one that is more documented, but this one here of December 2025, 1521, Santiago Domingo plantation uprising wasn't as well publicized, as not as well known, right? Santo Domingo slave rebellion, right? So this was the earliest recorded slave uprising in America. Now I touched on this one. I done a video on it. Could have been on my last channel what I had. The Haitian Revolt, the Haitian Revolution. What was the most famous slave rebellion? This is it here. Revolution was the world only successful slave revolt. And I remember I made mention of Dessalines Toussaint Louverture. He was led by that Toussaint Louverture, famous or infamous freedom fighter. And the end result wasn't good. When they tricked him, the French, they tricked him, right? After he led the slavery, this was around 1804 or 5. He led the freedom fight. The Haitians, which are the Levites. You got the Simeons, you got the Levites. Simeon is the Dominican Republican. Haitians, Levites are the Haitians, which are brothers. Scriptures go into that in Genesis 49. And they needed to be separated after what they did to their daughter Dinah. What the Hamites did to their daughter Dinah. And they went in the village. They fooled them. They said, "All right, you can have my daughter, but you got to marry her. And in order for you to marry, you got to be circumcised." And they tricked the Hamites into getting circumcised. And Simeon and Levi, the two brothers, went in and done the business, dealt with them with the swords and all of that. Yeah, Simeon and Levi, it says that they are brothers and they should be separated. But that's another video. But right, this is when they was together. They was powerful as brothers. But now you got this Haitian revolt, which are the Levites today, according to the scriptures, what we know. Yeah, the Haitian Revolution was one of the greatest episodes of human history, all throughout perpetually overshadowed, right, by the American and French Revolution, which preceded to a degree caused it to forever change the history of the world. Yeah. Matter of fact, I made mention of them. I might do a video on them two brothers. Go into that through the scriptures. Simeon and Levi, yeah, the two warriors, some of the most warriors out of the tribes, Simeon and Levi. Oh, here's a bit more here. What was the first ever slave rebellion? And I'm getting into this. We're gonna get into some scriptures, but this is also giving me. It's almost like deja vu, man. Some of the history that I've got into. I want to get into it again a bit more. The 1521 Santo Domingo slave revolt occurred in the Spanish colony of Santo Domingo on islands of Hispaniola during that year's Christmas festival. It is the earliest recorded slave revolt in the Americas that they don't wanna talk about it. That's another way that they quash revolts, is by keeping them silent, and hushed, so that nobody else gets any ideas about it. Revolt. So here's one word here. I just wanted to look at that word there. Revolt, meaning to break away from or rise against constituted authorities, as by open rebellion, cast off alliances, allegiance, I'm butchering it. It's funny because I can butcher it now and then I can come back to it a minute later and I'll just pronounce it just like that, no problem. Cast off allegiance or subjections to those in authority, right? Rebel immunity, to revolt against the present government, to turn away in mental rebellion, utter disgust or uproarance, usually followed by from her revolt from eating, whatever. That's just a stupid example, but that's the point there. To break away from, rise up against authorities. There you have it. Alliance or subjections, if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's the meaning there. So now we're going to get into some scriptures. I'm glad that the elder apostle mentioned this, give me, so that I can land back off the history, the slave rebellion of December 2020, 1521, that I really didn't hear about this. Like I say, they push it under the radar, don't publicize it so that nobody don't get ideas. But you know what we got now? We got this. We got the truth. We got the truth now. We got something far more superior. The scriptures talks about. Let's get it. Deuteronomy 28 and straight to the point. 68 says, "And the Lord shall bring thee unto Egypt." Where's Egypt today? Egypt is over there in Babylon. And you got modern day Babylon, which is really the same spirit when they had us in under the heavy yoke of Pharaoh, right? And it's described, Egypt is described as Babylon today, which is over there in America. Scripture says that we shall be brought back into Egypt. Yeah, the Lord shall bring thee unto Egypt. And like I say, we would always remember, right? It's always going to be in our history what happened to us in Egypt under the yoke, under the cosh of Pharaoh, and we were delivered from there in a mighty way. Again with ships, by the way thereof I spoke unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Yes, man. So all the times we were in captivity, where that particular time enslaved, we was delivered by the Most High. No man was delivering us. And all these uprisings here, they all fell by the wayside. You know, Tucson, the Haitian Revolution, the Santo Domingo uprising, rebellion, they all fell by the wayside. It wasn't successful. This one only, as we looked at, didn't even last 11 days. Just under 10 days, around 10 days it lasted. And it was, as we read here, yeah, the revolt was violently put down by Spanish colonizers, and 11 days later the governor issued a new set of repressive laws regulating blacks and slaves. Ain't that coincide with the scriptures, what we just looked at? And there shall you see no, and the Lord, going back to it, Deuteronomy 28 and 68, and the Lord shall bring thee unto Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spoke unto thee. And yeah, we were brought into Americas, the estates of Americas, via ships, right? And this is an old breakdown that elders and apostles have been going into, because it didn't take ships; it was a walking distance when we was in Egypt. But to come to over into America, it took ships to bring us over. Yeah, the good ship Jesus, bringing us over the transatlantic. You know, ships like the good ship Jesus, well-known, infamous ships where a lot of us were dashed overboard. Right, you didn't survive. The slaves were dashed overboard, given to the sharks, and that's a well-known trick, if you like. Sharks still hang around here, hoping to get some food around those parts, transatlantic. So those that didn't survive under the oppressive boat, in the bottom of the boat, were crushed like sardines, sardines, all kind of things we was going through. That's what we're talking about here. Now, and the Lord shall bring thee unto Egypt again with ships, and those were the ships. By the way thereof I spoke unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy thee. That's the point. Right? Brought into Egypt again with ships, and that's Americas. Mainly Americas, parts of Europe. And no man shall buy us is where we see in here, we're looking at it now. The revolts that were quashed within 10-11 days. Where was it? Yeah, here it is. Nevertheless, the uprising established and presented in the times of everyone to keep this. Where was it? He made the point here. Didn't last very long. Nevertheless, the uprising, the precedent in the minds of everyone to keep the system in place. Spanish colonial authorities acted quickly, and about 10 days later, in 1522, they sanctioned a tough set of laws, especially devoting to the limiting the rights of black people. Right? Yeah, that's what they're calling black people is the Israelites, the true people that are Lord, princes of the power, which we know that Deuteronomy makes mention of all of that, what we went through. So you can't make this up. Prophecies speaking, right? Prophecies and history coincide with each other. We're talking about history here, right? When we was in slavery, literally under the Egyptians, and also when we were brought over here via ships. Prophecy, and it's now history, right? Where no man shall buy thee, no man never bought us. It didn't work. It didn't take long for them to quash it. We're just looking at it now. Didn't take very long. So just read a couple more precepts. Is there light at the end of the tunnel? Right, the scriptures tell us, man. The scriptures do tell us. Yeah, no man shall buy us, but there's going to be something. Like I say, the history goes deep. Let's get straight to the point. Revelation 7:3 says, right? Let's get to it. 7:3 says, yeah, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of Yahweh in their foreheads. Right, and I heard a number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000, and all the tribes of the children of Israel. Right, so this is how we have to be set free. Right, this is the only way. As a matter of fact, I can come back to that to make the point. I can come back to that. Revelation chapter 7. We come back to that. Let's get this one. This kind of makes the point. Isaiah 1 says, and 3 says, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. Right, man. So we're talking about here. Who we're talking about here? The dumb of our people. Dumber than the ox. And the scriptures are saying it. It's not me saying it. Dumber than the ox, dumber than the ass. Right? A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity. Reading on in 4. A seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters,
They have forsaken the law. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel to anger. They are gone away backward, right? When you look at what's going on today, all the things that's coming out about these lower level Masons, which what they are, all of these people, P Diddy, Nicki Minaj, all these people's coming out about him, Justin Timberlake, what's the other one, Justin Bieber, all these lower levels Masons that sold their soul to the devil. This is what we're talking about here, right? They have gone away backward. Why should you be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. Right? The wicked, which is a curse that's on them. Deuteronomy 28. Yeah, from the sole of the feet even to they're sick. They're sick. From the sole of their foot even to the head. There is no soundness in them. Yeah, no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and purifying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither multiplied with ointment. Right, the boule, right, lower level in Masons that sold their soul to the devil. That's them we're talking about, right? Being rejected of the Most High, and we was looking at the 144,000, and that's what it's going to take. You see where I'm going with this? Right? Your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land strangers devour in it. Your presence and it is desolate, as overthrown by strangers. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage. Yeah, right. That's the daughter of Zion is Yahshua, the Prince of the Power. Now you're desolate. Just like when you see what happens to a village when it's been overrun by the enemy, the soldiers. What do? They spoil it. They take everything, right? They take everything. They spoil it, and they take the women too, right? As captors, yeah, and they usually delete the men and take the women. So this is what is representing here on a spiritual level. Yeah, the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in the vineyard, as a lodge in the garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. There you have it. This is what happens to a besieged city. Where now the Yahshua, the woman, the Zion, the wife of Yehoshua, is a besieged city in slavery up until this very day. See where history and prophecy coincide with each other? We're looking at it now. Yeah, 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. Right, I like that part there. Except the Lord of hosts has left unto us a very small remnant. Where's that small remnant? Let's get back to it. Revelation chapter 7. Abu Ratazar, the point Abu Ratazar is edifying. We get into this. Revelation 7, talking about the small remnant. Let's read through again. Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of Yahweh in their foreheads. That's the small remnant, right? Because the rest of them, 2/3 we're talking about, that's also mentioned in Zechariah 13 and 8, right? Have to be done away with. 2/3 will be done away with. Yeah, besieged. It's a besieged city, done away with, and except a small remnant. Let's get back to it. Right? Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. Right. So Revelation 4 now of 7. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, that's that small remnant. And there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Yahshua. When you read on, it mentions all the tribes in Revelation 7. The tribe of Asher, the tribe of Judah, tribe of Simeon, tribe of Zebulun, they're all the tribes that are sealed. Yeah, and it goes on in 9, it talks about the great multitude, which no man could number, of all the nations, 100 of people and tongues stood by for the throne and before the Lamb, stood by for the throne and before the Lamb clothed with white robes and palms in their hand. Right? That's that small remnant which the Most High bought. He bought them, he sealed them. Yahushua bought them by leaving his role model, his life, his fleshly life that he gave for his remnant. The small remnant, which are the 144,000, and don't forget the great multitude. That's the remnant. But all the rest of them, they're sick. They have been cast off. So we're going to end off now. Revelation chapters 14 and 3 says, and they sung, right? Just to further the point. And they sung, the small remnant, right? And they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. Right? These are the ones that were bought, redeemed from the earth. 144,000, the elect, the small remnant. Yeah, reading on in Revelation 4:14 and 4 now. These are they which were not defiled with women, right? That's the philosophies of this world, right? And all the wicked, corrupt religions and ways of life, and not selling their soul like the rebels did, right? The fools of our people, more foolish than the ox, more foolish than the ox and the ass. But that's how the Most High describes them, right? They did not defile themselves with women, for they were virgins, these that which follow the Lamb whosoever they goeth, right? They understand that Yahushua is the one to follow, right? Hence his name and the meaning of his name. He saves, Yahushua, he saves, he delivers, right? These are they which follow the Lamb wheresoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Yahweh and to the Lamb. Right? Because Yahweh Shai is the firstborn of the first fruits. And these were redeemed, right, from among men, being the first fruits unto Yahweh and to the Lamb. Giving our praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Shai. So, how you get a word, this is how you get a word or something made mention of, a little bit of brief history that leads you to Abu Ra'azar. This video that I just did, Abu Ra'azar, was edifying. So some brief history and going into some prophecy. Some brief history leading to prophecy. The ultimate prophecy, which would be the deliverance from ultimate slavery, which is Babylon and the mother of Babylon. So that's what I'm going to entitle it, something to that effect. Brief history leading to deliverance unto prophecy. So the Wada Yahweh Shemeshach put the spirit on me to do this video. Shalom. We on to the next.